Hey guys, and welcome back to part 6 of my TF2 frag movie making tutorial series. And yeah, so far I've taught you guys pretty much everything that I knew when I made my second movie, Teen Down, back in September 2009. So at that point, or at this point, you should be able to record a movie at a high FPS, encode it into a Logos file, some like raw files, and then you can edit it in Sony Vegas, and then compress it in the end to make a good movie. And so that is pretty much the basis of all movies. But right now I'm going to be teaching you some ways that you can customize Team Fortress 2 to add that little bit of extra flair to your movies if so desired. So first off, I just mentioned the programs that we'll be using through this tutorial. And yeah, I'm going to be starting off. First program that you'll probably need is GCF Escape. You can find this at NemsTool or nemesis.thewavelength.net. You can just type it into Google. I'll chuck a link into the description. But GCF Escape is a program needed to open up the GCF files which hold all the Team Fortress 2 materials for you, since you know, your Team Fortress directory doesn't actually hold you know, the actual raw material files. You actually need to go into these GCF kind of storage files to extract out these materials to edit. From GCF Escape, you can edit all the material inside of TF2 with VTF Edit, because all the materials inside TF2 are usually in a VTF format. So what you're going to be needing is VTF Edit to open it up. Otherwise, you might want the Photoshop VTF plugin so that you can actually edit VTF files directly using your Adobe Photoshop, you know, whichever version you have. So yeah, those are the three main programs. Adobe Photoshop is what we're going to be editing the files in. VTF Edit is what we're going to be opening them in. And GCF Escape is what we're going to be opening the GCF files to extract your files. So just to get started, we're going to be altering the weapon skins, and we're going to be modifying the model skins. And so the way this works is that inside your TF directory you have a materials folder. Now this is usually empty because all your default material files would actually be stored in Team Fortress 2 material.gcf. So if you open that up with GCF Escape, you can go into the TF directory and go to materials, and you can actually see this is where it's all stored. And from here we can actually extract them out and then edit them later. So in this case we're going to be modifying the weapon skin and the model skin of the medic. You know, I'll be kind of showing you what I did when I made either my State of Origin video or my new GameStar TV intro for capture C4C. So what you need to do is you go into the Team Fortress 2 materials folder, and you can see all these folders, and you know, you can mess around. You just look through all of them, and you find a lot of files, you know, for, you know, levels, the material, like textures and all that. What we're going to be interested in right now are the models, which is right here. And inside the models, you've got a whole bunch of stuff, a whole bunch of other folders. But what we're going to be using is the player folder, and that has all the players, or all the classes, and their respective skins in their VTF formats. So what you need to do is, since your Team Fortress actual directory inside your hard drive is actually empty, you actually need to make the actual folder directory inside that folder. So in the case that if you don't have a materials folder, you need to make a materials folder, and then you need to make a models folder, and then you need to make a player folder. Then you need to make the medic folder, blah blah blah. An easier way is just if you have the space, it's not that big, you just drag out all the player actually no, inside materials, models, yes, player, you just drag player out. Where is it? No, it's in models, then player, then you drag that out, and it will it will drag out all the files, and just makes it easier for you to access later instead of going through GCF Escape and then isolating every single image. You could just have it all at the tip of your fingers. So yeah, extracting out all the player skins right here, and I'm also gonna extract out, or I extracted out already, all the weapon models skins into materials and models. So at this point now we're free to mess around with it. So in the case of the medic, if you open it up, you can see you're going to have VTM files, which apparently is some sort of text file which is associated with the image that it's with. So you can see that medic underscore blue VTM is associated with medic underscore blue.vtf, which is the actual image file. And you can see that the image file is actually large in size. So if you open that up, you'll see that you have the medic skin right here. So what you need to do is you can get that and you can drag it into Photoshop right here, and then we are free to edit anything inside the skin like so. In the case of the C4C intro that I made, I modified the backpack, the blue backpack, and I'll be teaching you guys just a couple of stuff in Photoshop as well. But what we're going to be doing is we're going to be chucking the sponsor, or not really the sponsor, but the foundations that C4C actually is going to be donating to onto the back of the medic pack. So it's hard to kind of understand where everything goes, but you can just pretty much make a guess at which individual compartment is associated with the 3D model. It's kind of like some sort of origami thing going on. And the easiest part is to know that the back of the med pack is actually this plus right here. And really all you need to do is just need to get rid of that plus, and we're just going to replace it with that logo. So a lot of people, there are a few ways that you can get rid of it. If you use the eyedropper tool in Photoshop, you can pick a color that's around it, so this kind of gray color. You can pick a paintbrush and you can just color it in like that. Main problem that you can experience with this is that it's just the one color. So if you have multiple colors, say you have something here with an actual gradient, it might be easier. This is kind of a bit more advanced, but you can actually grab the clone tool, and what that actually does is that if you hold Alt and you click on it, that specific area, the next part you press is actually cloning that point there to that point there, and so you can actually kind of use the colors around it, the natural colors around it, to actually cover it up. And it might be a bit painstaking, but you can just increase the size of the brush and it just becomes a bit more realistic. But that just takes a bit of time, and we'll have that in this tutorial. So once you've gotten rid of that, all you need to do is you need to get your logo, you need to copy it in, it's pretty big, and you need to shrink it down a bit like so. That's pretty small, but yeah, it fits perfectly right there. Now I'm not sure. I'll be going through like basic, Adobe, Photoshop stuff. So if you have a white background here and you don't want that to show, there are a few ways to get rid of the white. But so a lot of people like to use the magic wand and press delete like that. It's just a really stupid way of doing it though. The easiest and cleanest way for you to do this is to actually use these blending modes that Photoshop and a lot of other like Sony Vegas has. So what it does is that if you press down on your layers window, you're going to have a whole bunch of these blending modes, and if you go through them one by one, you can actually see that if we're on the layer, this prostate cancer layer, you can press down under dissolve, kind of looks a bit weird. Under darken, it gets rid of the white and it keeps the dark areas of the image. Multiply, you get a good effect right here. I could go through all the different types of blending modes, but After Effects has a pretty cool explanation of each type of effect. But all you really need to do is just go down through every single one and see which one looks best. And yeah, it's just the multiply, color burns, and all that. Those are the ones that get rid of the white. And so from there, yeah, you're pretty much done with that. So what you do is you now save as, and usually the default saving is a PSD. You can save a PSD as a backup if you want, because what that does is that it retains the Photoshop layers, and so you can open it up again and then modify the layers, respectively. But I'm a bit lazy, so I'm just going to go straight to VTF, and I'm just going to save it as medic backpack _blue. I'm going to keep the copy there just because, yeah, I'll explain later, but this VTF window should pop up, and the template, I'm just going to use uncompressed texture with alpha. It's just, I've got a lot of space, and we're going to keep these textures as uncompressed as possible. Just like encoding movies, you don't want to lose quality in your image. So when we go back into the medic folder, you're going to have the medic backpack, not backpack. You got this file, this modified file, and you got the original one. I like to keep the original one as a reference. So what I always do is I change that to medic _backpack blue #2, then change this copied one, so the modified one, into blue. And so what this does is that now this edited file is going to replace the original file. However, I still have the original file just in case I wanted to change it back to normal.